afternoon. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Expanding into Taiwan, Insights for Singapore Tech Companies, organized by SGTech in partnership with Taipei Computer Association, TCA. My name is Raj from SGTech and I will be your MC for today's session. Now, before we begin, for some of our participants who have just come in, a few quick housekeeping notes. As this is a webinar, we kindly request everyone to keep your microphones muted unless invited to speak. Please feel free to use the chat box or the Q&A function, especially the Q&A function, to post your questions during the session. We will try our best to address them either during the speaker segments or towards the end of the webinar. Now, today's session is especially relevant for tech founders, expansion leads, and business development teams looking at Taiwan as part of their regional growth strategy. Taiwan is increasingly recognized as a strategic hub for AI and semiconductor development. And for Singapore-based applied AI and IoT companies, the opportunity is significant. But entering Taiwan requires more than just interest. It requires practical market understanding, the right ecosystem connections, and a clear view of where the opportunities lie. To open today's webinar, I would now like to invite Ms. Jezri Lan, Associate Director of Internationalisation in SGTech, to say a few words. Jezri, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jezri and I head the internationalization programs at SGTech. It's wonderful to see representatives from Singapore and Taiwan coming together to exchange ideas, strengthen connections, and explore new opportunities for collaboration in the technology and innovation space. Today's session reflects the growing importance of cross-border partnership in driving digital transformation, innovation, and sustainable growth across our region. Taiwan and Singapore each bring unique strengths in technology, manufacturing, digital innovation, and ecosystem development, and platforms like this webinar allow us to learn from one another and build meaningful partnerships. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Taipei Computer Association, TCA, for partnering with us on this webinar and making this event possible. We are privileged to have an esteemed group of speakers with us today. Their collective expertise across industry, investment, and business operation is instrumental for any of the company looking to successfully navigate the Taiwanese tech ecosystem. I encourage all participants to actively engage throughout the session using the Q&A function to ask questions. Thank you once again for joining us today, and I hope this session gives you a clear path forward to your expansion into Taiwan. I will now pass back the time to Raj to introduce our speakers. Raj, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jezri, for your wonderful words. To set the stage for today's discussion, it is my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Mr. Good H. Chang, Associate Director at Deloitte, Taiwan. Now, Good is a strategy and business development executive with more than 20 years of experience across AI, cloud computing, capital markets, and corporate strategy in the Asia-Pacific region. He brings deep advisory experience from firms such as Deloitte, KPMG, and UBS, alongside C-level operating experience as a former CEO and CFO of a regional mobility-as-a-service venture. His expertise spans corporate strategy, business model design, go-to-market execution, semiconductor and AI hardware, industrial IoT, edge computing, and smart mobility. Today, Good will share insights on the 2026 Taiwan AI semiconductor landscape, including high-growth sectors and strategic entry considerations for Singapore enterprises. Good, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, all the SGTech and the TCA VIP guests for bringing us Deloitte with the Danny Tsai CPA together today. May I share my screen right now?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Can you see my slide here?
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay. Thank you again. I'm Chen, Associate Director in Deloitte in Taiwan Strategist, Risk and Transaction Practice. I spend most of my time advising technology groups on cross-border strategy and capital allocation. So with a particular focus on semiconductor, AI hardware, and smart mobility today. So over the next 30 minutes, I want to give you a practitioner's view of the Taiwan in 2026, not the tourist version, the operator's version. So when the real opportunity sits, where the bottlenecks are, and how Singapore's enterprises can plug in partner or investor, let's get into it. Okay, a quick note on my background, since it's shaped the length of today's presentation. I spent over 20 years at the intersection technology and the capital markets. So I'm founding the right now the AI and the semiconductor is the keywords of the Taiwan. So today's agenda, I like to share first Taiwan's AI ecosystem, the full stack from the silicon to the server rack. And second, the high growth sector in the 2026 when demand is real, where capacity is scarce and when the partnership windows are actually opened. Third, why Taiwan for Singapore, the complementarity synthesis. Fourth, the strategic entry pathway. I will share the four models, each with different speed, capital, and control profiles. Please hold your question. I will move quickly, and we will have plenty of time at the end. If you take away nothing else from today, take away these four numbers. The headline is that Taiwan is not just supplying the AI economy; it's the AI economy's physical substrate. Without Taiwan, there's no AI rollout at the scale we've seen today. When I tell clients Taiwan indispensable, this is what I mean. 68.6% of the global wafer foundry, 49% of the global IC packaging and testing, and roughly 90% of the AI server shipments, including overseas production. No single geographic comes close. Korea is the second in the foundry and the 12%. China is lower at the advanced nodes. The United States has design and the equipment leadership, but the physical production sits in Taiwan. So now, look at the right side, the end-to-end value chain from the IC design. For example, the company is a MediaTek, Realtek, Novatech. Taiwan is consistently a top 5 fabulous nation. Foundry, TSMC, UNC, VIS with a 2 nanometers leadership by 2025. Packaging, you must know the ASE spill, leading the transition to the 2.5 dimension and the 3 dimension advanced packaging. As for ODMs, you know the names. Component supplier, Delta in power, Oras in thermal, also in substrates. And the emerging application in Edge AI, smart manufacturing, robotics, and healthcare. Here's what matters. No other economy holds the all 5 layers at a scale in one island. You can find advanced design in United States. You can find memory in Korea. You can find assembly in Southeast Asia. But only Taiwan has the complete, integrated, end-to-end stack designed to work together in the same country with the engineer teams that have to work together for decades and 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days. This is the ecosystem Singapore partners are plugging. Now, let me put numbers behind the growth story. The chart of the left shows the global AI semiconductor market by segments. Gray bars are 2024. The green bars are the 2028 forecast. Computer AI, the biggest segment, grows from the 29 billion to the 122 billion US dollars, roughly 4 times growth in 40 years. The hyperscaler capex following straight through to Taiwan ODM manufacturers. But notice, every segment accelerates. Industrial AI grows at the 50.9% CAGR. Communication and automotive about 29%. This is not the narrow boom in one sub-segment. It's broad-based demands across the economy globally. 3 takeaways on right side. First, computer AI is growing 4 times, and it puts the entire Taiwan hardware stake with it. And second, every adjacent segment accelerates. So if you are Singapore enterprise, whose AI angle is industrial, automotive, or even telecommunication, you are also in Taiwan adjacent story. And third, and this is the key point for the investors, hardware in AR is not a commodity. The margin concentrate wherever supply is scarce. Advanced packaging, high bandwidth memory, liquid cooling, this is our scarce goods. And that's where the real return sits. And next, let's move the high growth sector in the 2026. So which sectors spatially? Let's go deeper by 4 metrics, 2 by 2 metrics. For example, AI server, rack scale system, roughly 90% global share sits with the Taiwanese ODMs, NVIDIA GB200, GB300, and the Evercomm in Ruby Vera generation, all built in Taiwan. Liquid cooling, high density power, 800 volt architectures. Defense runs ahead of the cyber through the 2026 and likely into the next year. And the advanced packaging, that's just what I mentioned. CoWoS, SOIC, FOPLP, 70,000 wafers per month of the CoWoS capacity at the TSMC by end 2025. Oh, let me mention to TSMC is our OD client. This is the real bottleneck of the AI era. Not wafer production, not design, but the packaging step of the bonds GPU silicon with the high bandwidth memory. And the NVIDIA alone consume roughly 63% of the 2025 CoWoS capacity. Everyone else, AWS, Google, Meta, for their ASICs, fight over the rest. And we can see the edge AI, on-device inference. I believe every one of you know that Gamma is on the mobile. So industrial AI semiconductor market growing at the 50% compound annual. So low power inference silicon, AI PCs, AI-enabled industrial PCs for factory floor, retail, smart cities. I know there are a lot of projects regarding the smart cities on board in the Singapore. So Taiwan has a deeper IPC and artificial intelligence IoT capacity here. Think Advantech, MOSA, Innodix, ASUS, etc. And finally, vertical AI. This is where Singapore enterprises can move fastest. Taiwan's government is targeting the 142,000 small and medium enterprises for AI adoption by 2027 through its industry competitive programs. A government-backed AI lending program. That means immediate pilot partners in manufacturing, healthcare, and mobility. Ready buyer, ready infrastructure. And then let me go deeper on the 2 scarcity plays. On the left, AI server. Roughly 90% of the global chips built in Taiwan, that's just as I mentioned. The NVIDIA reference design partners are all here. You may know Foxconn, Quanta, Wistron, Inventec, Gigabyte, ASUS. The real engineer challenge right now are the thermal and the power. Liquid cooling at the rack scale, 800 volt direct current power distribution, and the supply chain bottlenecks are not where you would think. They are in cooling plates, bus bar, and high voltage DC power modules is very huge. For Singapore data centers operators, you are directly downstream customers of this value chain. You need to understand it. And on the right, advanced package. Three numbers to internalized, plus 150%. TSMC CoWoS capacity growth from 2023 to 2024, they doubled, and then some. They are still constrained. The capacity is full occupied by not only by Apple, but by also NVIDIA, AMD, and etc. So 44% to 46%, TSMC on the 5 years CAGR guidance for AI accelerator revenue. That's the most powerful company in the global semiconductor, tells us the ramp is continuous. And the 70% TSMC share of all sub-7 nanometer foundry capacity globally, from Taiwan to Japan to United States, in Arizona, and even in Germany, effect monopoly at the blending age. And here's an opportunity for Singapore industrial players. The substrates and the materials layer, ABF substrates, glass core substrates. This is where Japan is, and the Taiwanese suppliers dominate today. And it is exactly the kind of the precision materials play where Singapore's engineers' capabilities and the capital can enter as a partner or the investor. Now, let's pivot from the scarcity of hardware to vertical application, because this is where Singapore's enterprise can move fastest without capital-intensive bets on silicon. Taiwan's unfair advantage here is not the model. It's not the ChatGPT. It's not the cloud. The advantage is having complete AI ecosystem as a substrate of the vertical application. Three verticals worth your attention. The first one is the smart manufacturing, high maturity, AI defect injection, predictive maintenance, EO analytics, already in productions. Digital twins pilots running through the government's industry competitive program. Tier 1 Taiwan component suppliers are localizing the Bosch, SML, and the Schaeffler playbooks. If you are a Singapore industry operator, there are partners could co-develop with today. And the second one is the health and life science. Scaling domain-specific medical imaging model trained on Taiwan hospital datasets, which, by the way, are deep and high qualities. Government-based private-public data collaboration frameworks. Partner included RIMSing, NRHI is for the national backed the research centers, the leading medical centers for Singapore healthcare and biotech. This is a credible co-development path. And third, mobility, logistics, and IoT ramping is run very fast. Digital twins warehouse monitor use the 3 dimensions of visualization and the sensor fusion. AI-enabled mobile mobility as a service platform. I personally built one of this, integrated over 1,000 vertical across 5 Taiwanese cities, from Taipei, New Taipei City, Taichung, Kaohsiung, and the Taidong County, and the edge inference in AIoT devices, industrial pieces, smart retails, smart cities infrastructure. And the fourth, there's the not proofs of the concept. They are deployed right now. So why is Taiwan spatially for Singapore? Let's address the head on. I want to frame this very carefully, because most of the common mistake I see in framing, even in public, the medias, they say Singapore and Taiwan as competitors. They are not. We are complementary. We can see the left side. Singapore brings the huge value from the capital and the finance. And so far, we can see the many with the ultra high family office, private equities funds, and the venture capital school, sovereign capital like the GIC, and the best regional headquarter platform in Asia. And the second, enterprise AI demands large banks, telcos, port operations, data centers operations, sophisticated buyer who know what they need. And the regulator clarify PDPA, model risk management under the mass feed frameworks. So you have the excellent and trusted governance in finance. And the aging gateway access, market reach, talent diversity, native English language business operation. But also Taiwan can bring us hardware supply, engineered density, manufacturing velocity, design to mass production, cycle measured in months, not years, even weeks. And a trusted supply chain, US, European Union, and Japan line, IP respecting, export control compliance. So this is not one ecosystem competed with another. It's a two ecosystem. And in today, we have the big opportunities can combine and cover the entire value chain from the capital to the silicon to deployment. And then for concentrated reason to act on Taiwan in this year. One, technology access. I think co-design windows with Taiwan fabless and the ODMs for vertical AI product are open right now. You may have heard OpenAI, they are design their AI native mobile phone right now. So they are so the current status are narrow as capacity titans. If you want to be born for 2027 delivery, you need to start conversation with all AI, fabulous ODMs, manufacturing companies in Taiwan in this year. And two, supply chain integration. Qualified vendors pathway into the tier one ODMs bills of the materials are being decided now. So component slots, thermal slots, power slots, material slots, they are being awarded. So later rise pays more and don't get it. And third, talent and R&D. Joint R&D program, which like the ACDRC or ACED fab in Taiwan are operating. MOEA talent cultivating programs are active. Taiwan has an engineer labor density than Singapore's. So at the 5 and 1/2 million people, simple cannot match. And four, I just want to mention the capital alignment. Lately, I will introduce our very experienced CPA, Danny Tsai. He is also responsible for Singapore enterprise on board in Taiwan. So we got a very active listed tech name that offer the global exposure through the domestic listing. And ultra high net worth founders are actively looking for Singapore co-investment partner for their next ventures. But the question for the Singapore board is not whether to engage Taiwan, it's how quickly and through with the pathway. Which brings us to the pathway. There are 4 entry pathway, different risk and reward files. First one is the subsidiary or with representative office. Greenfield presents wholly owned entity in Taiwan for control, slower ramp, direct hiring, use list when you have the long-term commitment or IP intensity or significant talent acquisition needs in Taiwan. And second one is the strategic alliance or just MOU. For example, this is the contracted-based partnership, not equity, fastest to close, lowest capital, lowest controlling power. Use this when you are learning the market, running the pilot project, or just setting up the co-selling arrangement into Asian region. And third, more aggressive, is about the merger and acquisition, full on minority. Acquisition or strategic seat. You can buy capability, you can buy your team, you can buy the revenue, even you can buy the whole management teams. It's more complex, but it transfer your competitive position in Taiwan. Use this when you have the specific capability gate to close, or when you want to leapfrog into the market position you could not build organic in Singapore. And finally is the joint venture, co-own the new entity, balance the capital, control, and the local execution. So use this for capital-intensive projects, large facilities, local license situations, and manufacturing co-investment. So where neither side wants to carry the full risk alone. So each of this has a place. The variance depends on your strategic goal, your risk appetite, and your capital plan. This is a very simple maps, but you can compare the speed, capital, and the control. For example, speed to the market, alliance win, 1 to 3 months to close a deal. Subsidiary and the MMA is for sure is lower, but typically 6 to 18 months, typically, maybe longer. And from the another perspective, capital intensive, alliance are lowest, MMA and joint venture are highest. Subsidiary sits in the middle. From the control over the operation, subsidiary gives you full control, but joint ventures are shared. Alliance give you a very, very limited control. And from the access to local capability perspective, MMA is how you buy capability instantly. Alliance let you contract for it, and the subsidiary means you build itself, which takes time. Finally, we can see the regulatory complexity. Alliance are lighter. MMA is the heaviest, especially who with cross-border and the trust and the foreign investment approvals. For example, in Taiwanese governments, we will detail checking if the capital with the China investment on behind the entities. So that just let you the heads up for knowing this. And typical timing from the 1 to 3 months for alliance up to the 18 months for complex MMA. So the rule of thumb I give my clients, start with the alliance to learn the market. This more easily. Escalate to MMA or the JV once the synthesis is proven and the capacity is scarce. So you don't want to execute MMA into a market if you haven't operated in it. You will spend more advisory fee, lawyers' hours, but you don't want to stay in alliance models forever if you need a real control. Okay. So this is very simple. What are the illustrative 12 months roadmap looks like? The phase 1 is the diagnosis. Months 0 to 1 align your AI synthesis with your business goal. Scope the Taiwan opportunity sets. What sector, what partners, what scale of the commitment. And the phase 2 is the engage. Months 2 to 4, market visit, client visit, meet the tier 1 ODMs, meet the fabulous players, meet the system integrators, show the 3 to 5 potential partners. This phase is about the calibration, not a commitment. And to the phase 3, it's about the pilot run. Months 5 to 8, sign MOU or the pilot project contract with 1 or 2 partners. Validate 3 things: technology fits, commercial fit, and the cultural fit. So culture matters more than most boards expect. And in the phase 4, it's about the scale. Months 9 to months 12 and beyond. Choose your entry pathway based on what you learned. Subsidiary, MMA, joint ventures, and execute with the full legal, tax, and even regulatory support stake. Deloitte can support the end-to-end of this strategic diagnosis, anniversary, text structuring, regulatory compliance, and the post-merge integration. Not saying this is a commercial plot, saying it because each of these phases has a specialist requires that the methods of the downside protection. And now this is a very, very hard part. 5 risks you need to price into your Taiwan thesis. And I'd rather you hear them from me today than discover them during due diligence next quarters. 1, capacity scarcity. CoWoS, high bandwidth memory, advanced node storage are all located years ahead. Latecomers pay significantly higher price, or they don't get allocation at all. Mitigation, logging the latest of the intent earlier. Consider minority equity in strategic suppliers if you need supplier certainty. 2, geopolitical exposure. We know there are 2 giants between the Asia Pacific. The tech decoupling, export controls, and even tariff regimes. These are activities reshaping the supply chain, mitigation, diversification of Taiwan, and the Southeast Asia footprints. Leverage Singapore as a neutral regional headquarters. So far, I always recommend my clients, if they want to go abroad to set up their second headquarters, not only sales, marketing, but also operating and even manufacturing. We always recommend Singapore can be very naturally considered between east side and the west side. And 3, IP and data localization. Cross-border data flows, modern IP ownership, and joint R&D deliverables. This all require careful contracting. Solar mitigation is a structured IP holding vehicles early. Maybe, for example, for Cayman Island or Singapore holdouts are often the nature choices. And 4th, talent competition. Engineer talent in Taiwan is scarce and built up by TSMC, NVIDIA, and the tier 1 ODMs. So every companies in Taiwan, they're not competed with the foreign companies. They are compared to the TSMC and all the foundries or fabless ID designs. So retention is harder than hiring. What's the mitigation? Use R&D center model, ACED, fab, or with the TJCIT, rather than trying to build the standalone high operating from the scratch. 5, culture and governance feats. This is one is underestimated. Founders-led Taiwanese groups operate very differently from Singapore boards, from the decision rights, speed, and the transparency. They all look different. So the mitigation is to building relationships over 12 to 18 months before committing major capital. The founders need to know you before they partner with you. None of this kill the things, but all of them cost real money if you don't price them in. Okay, before I close, let me share one real case that shows how this works in practice. We work with the global leader in technology industry, especially for IT. They are scaling digital infrastructure across the EMEA, the Middle East, and the APAC, including Taiwan. As their hardware supply chain shift strategically, they need to stand up new overseas entities at pace. So the complexity and the volume of the cross-border operations were enormous. So in our solution, we assembled a very highly flexible global advisory team cover 3 regions, delivering risk management, regulatory response, and human capital services. So our human capital spatially, we paid in-country compliance advisory with employer of record models and allowing the clients to manage specialize the local talent with flexibility and speed. without the overhead of the old entity established in every country. So the result is the client build a resilience and adaptive management framework, supporting the simultaneous goal expansion and the supply chain transformation without the operating disruption. So one integration team, 3 regions, a resilience platform for the global growth. And now, let me introduce our CPA partner, Danny Tsai, who is very familiar to helping foreign companies, especially Singapore enterprise, on board and listed in the Taiwan. Let me hand over to the Danny. Your turn, Danny.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here. Let me give you a quick overview of Taiwan capital market. In simple terms, Taiwan has 2 main listing platforms, TWSE and the TPEX, we call Taipei Exchange. TWSE is for more established company, and the Taipei Exchange is for high growth and mid-sized company. So whatever stage you are at, there's usually a suitable platform for you. For a global perspective, Taiwan is actually quite significant. It's now the sixth largest capital market in the world. So listing in Taiwan doesn't just give you a local exposure, it gives you access to a market with real global scale. Let me highlight a few key advantages. First, valuation and the liquidity. TWSE trades at around 25 times earning, and the Taipei Exchange is even higher at about 35 times. So for growth company, valuation can be quite attractive. On top of that, liquidity is strong. Taipei Exchange turnover is around 45%, and TWSE about 15%. In practical terms, this means better trading activity and stronger support for you, for your share price. Okay, next slide. Let's talk about IPO cost. Taiwan is actually very efficient from a cost perspective. IPO advisory fee are typically around NTD 27 to 45 million, which is generally lower than Singapore, Hong Kong, or the US. The listing fee itself is quite low, and the annual maintenance cost is also minimal. So both upfront and ongoing costs are very manageable. Okay, next slide, please. Taiwan's investor base is very well balanced. You don't just have institution, and you don't just have retail investment. You have both. Institution bring stability and long-term capital, while active retail investor bring liquidity and attention. This combination works especially well for growth companies. Whether you are in technology, biotech, or manufacturing or services. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, let's talk about speed and flexibility. The IPO process in Taiwan usually takes about 4 to 5 months, and is relatively straightforward and predictable. That's quite fast compared to many other markets. And after listing, there's also good flexible for future fundraising. So overall, if I summarized, we have 2 flexible listing platforms, and we are top 6 global market, and strong valuation and liquidity. And we have competitive growth and a fast, predictable process. All of this makes Taiwan a very practical and attractive market for companies looking to grow. If any of these sounds relevant to you, we'll be very happy to have a further chat. Okay, let's hand over to Good.
Yeah, thanks to Danny. So here's the key takeaways. Let me land this with the 3 takeaways. The first one is that Taiwan is the AI economy substrate. Silicon packaging AI server as no alternative geographic that offers all 3 at scale. The tailwind runs for years, not quarters. And second one, 2026 is the entry window, not an observation window. Capacity is already allocated. The bone slot are being decided now. So waiting to watch is commercial decision with a cost. And the third and the final one, choose the pathway that fits your goal. Alliance to learn, subsidiary to build, MMA to live, joint venture to share risk. Deloitte have structured all 4, including the exit, because the good deals anticipate exit from the day one. And if you want to meet Taiwan ecosystem in one place, Airwave Show 2026 in Taipei is where the tier 1 ODMs, fabless players, and system integrator all convenience. And I strongly encourage you to come in this year Computex. And this is our sharing. Thank you for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Good. Thank you, Danny, for your wonderful insights and sharing. Thank you again for that sharing of Taiwan's AI and semiconductor landscape. And I'm sure our companies here have learned a lot about how they can engage the market much more deeply. We now move from the broader market landscape to Taiwan's startup ecosystem and the resources available to international companies. It is my pleasure to invite Ms. Shaph Su, manager at the Taipei Computer Association, to share more about Taiwan Startup Terrace and its international resources. Shaph plays a key role in the Global Talent Fusion Center at TCA, where she supports the Taiwan Startup Terrace initiative founded by SMESA under Taiwan's Ministry of Economic Affairs. She has extensive experience organizing international business events, missions, startup programs, and cross-border ecosystem engagements, helping companies connect with Taiwan and global markets. Shaph, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shaph. I'm glad to be here today to represent Taiwan Startup Terrace. So right now, I am going to share my presentation. Please wait a second. I hope all of you can see my screen now. Well, I'm here today to introduce you to Taiwan Startup Terrace, which is the startup hub I'm working for now. It's a launchpad for international startups in Taiwan. Before I introduce what we're up to, well, given that the previous distinguished speaker from Deloitte has already given you a very full and comprehensive landscape about Taiwan market and all, I believe I will just be giving you a very brief overview about the startup ecosystem specifically before I go into what we're up to. So right now, as you can see here, there are about 10,000, almost 10,000 startups in Taiwan, almost lie in the top 3 industries, including electronic-related hardware, healthcare, and media and entertainment. And there are over 500 VCs in Taiwan, a lot of them, right? And then 300 more ecosystem enablers, which of course include Taiwan Startup Terrace, as you can see here as well. So there are a lot of us supporting startups in Taiwan, both from private and public sectors. And there have been like 3 unicorns listed here in Taiwan. We hope to nurture more unicorns in the future. For another, as you can see here, most of the funded startups are in angel and seed rounds, and then most of them, of course, want to expand into overseas market because, of course, as you can imagine, Taiwan is a pretty small island. And then, as you can see in previous page, there are a lot of incubators and accelerators like us. Many of startups would choose to work with these incubators or accelerators to really help them to scale up and to secure some government funds, things like that. So from the right side, you can see there are top five needs for expanding overseas. Most of them would, of course, need to find local partners or networks as their biggest problem. And well, basically, the top five needs, we all have strategies and tactics to meet with these needs. And then for the top five most impactful policies would be including subsidies, startup hubs, accelerators, service centers, and startup loans. So for the top three ones, I will be giving you some ideas about what we do concerning these policies. So let's go straight into what we're doing. So Startup Terrace is the largest international startup hub in Taiwan. We have campuses located in northern and southern Taiwan. As you can see here, we have accommodated more than 1,200 residents, including startups from across 25 countries. And there are a lot of partners. As you can see here, as our ecosystem partners, we work with them on different occasions, different programs, sometimes we even have been working on the same government project as well. So I forgot to mention that Startup Terrace is a government project funded by our Ministry of Economic Affairs. So it is a government project itself, and so we are actually not, unlike the private sectors, we do not support startups for money. So you can see, well, basically what we do is that everything you imagine an accelerator do, we all do that, except that we also have living and working spaces. We also have campuses, right? So when the startups start their business from zero, they find living and working spaces here in Startup Terrace, and then we offer all kinds of training sessions on no matter legal affairs or accounting affairs. We have partners to work on that. And then for POC projects, for example, the startups need to test their solutions before launched, and then they will need POC support. So we connect them with the stakeholders. We help negotiate with the sites they need to test their solutions. And then when they scale up, they will need to maximize their exposure. So we have all kinds of events going on throughout the years, no matter it's taking them to iconic shows in Taiwan or abroad. So, well, that's basically what we do, the four main pillars. And then, of course, the ecosystem is not just about startups. So there are other ecosystem builders, the enablers I previously mentioned, and then some enterprises and investors. We have all kinds of events going on throughout the years to engage everybody together, so that it's not just about startups talking to startups. It's all about engaging people from different fields, different sectors, so that they can find opportunities in not just like funding, but also collaborations or supply chain support, things like that. So we do these all kinds of events during expos or matchmaking. So for the B2B part, as I said, there are enterprises who are interested in working with startups, right? So there is a mechanism we use to help to facilitate this kind of collaborations in the past few years. From 2022, we have this kind of startup challenge. We invite big companies like Delta, like AUO, like TSMC, to propose their challenges, the challenges they meet. They have topics to invite startups to propose their solutions. So in this way, many big companies they would be willing to work with startups through this kind of mechanism. We help them to solve these challenges one by one, and then some pilot project will be going on. and then the startups will really get this kind of a very good experience in working with big companies to be their success stories, and then work on in further collaboration. So in the past, there have been over 180 startups have joined this challenge. Over 100 corporates have joined to propose their challenges, and we have received over 700 proposals. So it's a very good mechanism, and we hope to make it more internationalized. For example, in the past few years, we have worked with our government from Malaysia. We have worked with companies like Siemens, like Panasonic from overseas. So as you can imagine, it's very important for us like this to make a very wide international network, right? So we make friends around the world. We have many different partners working with us in many different ways. So one of the things is that it's when the startups overseas, they want to expand to Taiwan, for example, Singapore, and then our partners there would be helping to connect us with them, and then we can offer the services we have. On the other hand, vice versa, when our startups are interested in any of these countries, we can help them to connect to the right people to navigate the landscape there and tell them what they need to do, things like that. That's what we do. So it's an inbound and outbound programs we have. For example, for the outbound parts, we select different destinations to go to every year. For example, this year we have been to Sushi Tech in Tokyo. This year we're also going to Texas in Thailand. September we'll go to Germany, and then the US in October, and of course the switch Singapore and in October. That's what we're going to do. So for these missions, our startups will be getting our supports, no matter it's subsidies and no matter it's free booths, exhibitions, and of course the most important thing is to help them to locate and to find the right stakeholders in that place, in that country. So we host a lot of events for them there as well. So in the past, there have been we have taken over 100 startups to overseas events. Over 10 international expos. So we have generated pretty good results. Many of our startups have even set up companies in these places, and they even visit these countries again and again. So vice versa, as I said, we also welcome international startups to come over to Taiwan. So in the past, we have soft landing startups, and this year as well. However, this year we are doing this differently. For individual startups who are interested in coming to Taiwan, I totally recommend you to connect with us, because we do have some, for example, free consultation sessions. We have some matchmaking services available for people who we can connect to. We also have law partners who can help you to figure out how to set up businesses in Taiwan. So in the past, we have arranged many different soft landing batches, and then there have been 65 teams from across 25 countries have joined. We arrange their everyday schedule during their whole stay. Usually it's like 2 or 3 weeks. So it's going to be including like matchmaking, like trade shows, like business visits, and so on. So, welcome to meet us in Taiwan. We will be in these places, even if it's not for the soft landing. We totally welcome you to come to Smart City Summit and Expo, Innovex, meet Taipei as well. That's basically everything about us. So you are welcome to follow us here and talk to me in the networking or in the QA. Yes, and that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shaph, for sharing those valuable ecosystem resources. And next, we will actually hear directly from some of our Singapore companies with experience on the ground in Taiwan. Our first company sharing will be by Mr. Nicholas Yong, Director of Transformists Network Private Limited. Nicholas leads product development and regional strategy alignment for Transformists Network's expansion into Taiwan, ensuring that the organization's portfolio is well positioned for the local market. He also plays a foundational role in shaping AI Network Training Limited's Taiwan business, translating regional strategy into practical market entry. Nicholas will now share his perspectives on operating and expanding in Taiwan. Nicholas, please.
Okay, hi. Thank you very much for sharing my profile. Let me just share my screen right now. Okay, can you guys see my screen? I assume you do. All right.
Yes, we can.
So once again, thank you everybody for joining this webinar, and I think to also thank the two respective guests
Because
before me.
the
Yeah.
screen is in the preview mode, so maybe you want to change to the full screen mode. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Stop sharing. Okay, I think now you have the right screen.
Yes.
Okay, so once again, thank you very much, and appreciate the first three speakers for giving a very good overview of Taiwan. Taiwan is very close to me because we've been working with them or working with the country for more than a decade now. And I guess my example would be a good example of a company that doesn't need to be super high tech to enter Taiwan as a market. You don't need to be, big MNC or big company to really look at the Taiwan market. Before I do that, maybe just a bit of introduction of myself. I've been working and collaborating with Taiwanese and with the Taiwan companies for more than a decade now. I have two active ventures right now, and still currently operating. Okay, we have been working with a lot of companies in Taiwan right now, including from the government to integrators, the distributors there, as well as with companies like TSMC. Right now, even though I'm a Singapore-based company, Taiwan kind of served as my North Asia headquarters, managing actually not just opportunities from China, but also opportunities from Hong Kong. Now, it's interesting to note that Taiwan is using traditional Chinese, which is pretty similar to Hong Kong, right? In fact, it's the same as Hong Kong, and because of that, it's a lot easier for you to really have common dialogue and interfaces with the North Asia part. Okay. So my journey in Taiwan actually started with my first venture, which in this case I will use Chang's terminology. I went in as a joint venture for the training arm. All right, so we started in 2016, and that's when we were founded. And we actually have our first clients on board in 2017. We then grew pretty rapidly into the various markets, and we realized that there are a couple of things that we could find niches and bring certain values that Singapore as a company can bring into Taiwan. We were also recognized in 2023 as a top training provider. And we started our second venture into Taiwan as Transformists. In this case, it is now a fully owned subsidiary of Transformists into Taiwan as Venture 2. Now, give you a bit of idea of Venture 1 first, which is AI network training. As I mentioned, we started in 2016, 2017. Now, today, our course portfolio actually traverses from Cisco to Palo Alto to many others that you probably are very familiar in Singapore today. But honestly, as a training company, I would have never reached the success that I could in Singapore versus Taiwan. Partly because I think Taiwan is a very unique and independent ecosystem. Singapore tends to be a mixed pot of all MNCs coming together as one, right? So like what Chang is saying, that Singapore tends to be a neutral international hub. Taiwan, on the other hand, it's an independent ecosystem. So in that sense, a lot of things that we can bring into Taiwan are things that is already available today, but you could get authorization and you could get facilitation in Taiwan, but I would have never have gotten the opportunity in Singapore. So as such, as AI network training, right, it's already bigger than the entity I ever had in Singapore, even though Taiwan size-wise is also bigger, right? And actually with that, we have also gotten quite a lot of achievements, awards, accolades in Taiwan, such as receiving a bronze award from Ministry of Labour. We are also a registered digital service provider. We were also awarded an Asia Pacific Cisco Best Partner Award and also Palo Alto Asia Pacific Best Partner. Now, we did all that not in Singapore, but we managed to achieve all of that in Taiwan, interestingly, right? So that's some of the opportunities that we could actually get in Taiwan, right? So the clients that impact is quite a bit. We managed to really work with all the local entities, including the large companies at TSMC, with National Defense. In fact, today we are the de facto, we won a 6-year contract with the Taiwan military as their cybersecurity education arm. So whenever you train military personnel on cybersecurity, the company is the one that actually providing security training today. And we are also working with a lot of top IT integrators in Taiwan as well. In fact, I think more than a couple of hundreds, right? So with that, with the confidence built over time, we decided to also create a second venture, which in this case is Transformists Network. We created that fully owned subsidiary in 2024, but because of the ecosystem and the people that we already know, we actively and we very quickly actually managed to grow from 0 up to about 20 active clients, I think within a year. First year of operation in 2025. And I think you do need to be very hands-on. You do need to interact with a lot of people. In fact, just last year, I was in Taiwan almost every single month. Taiwan like becoming my second home of sorts. And it's a very interesting company to be in. Okay. So one of the things that we did leverage is Singapore brand, because we are known as somebody who is quite above board. We are trustworthy. And we also built upon the relationship forged through AI network training. So because of the training arm, we have already plugged ourselves into the tech ecosystem space, therefore allowing us to really build this other entity a lot faster, right? So what are some of the key lessons here? One, relationship first. I think like what Chang has mentioned, it takes a while. Singapore tends to be very pragmatic, right? When we go to the meeting, the first thing we say, hey, how do you do? And you talk about what we do, and we start talking about business straight away. Taiwan is a bit different. You really need to get to know them. Normally during dinners and stuff, where we meet up with them, we don't talk about work at all. We talk about family, we talk about who you know, what you know, and you start to build relationship first. Now that kind of gives you an idea of the ecosystem around there, understand the companies that you're dealing with, the founders you're dealing with. I think it's very important to do that first. So Singaporeans tends to be very pragmatic and very quick to jump into business first. But I would emphasize that I think for Taiwan, you need to do relationship first. Right. The second thing is really start niche. Don't go in big bang. Really look at where are the niches you can play. Taiwan, as you said, it's a independent ecosystem. So there are things that you could bring to Taiwan that the locals may not really have exposure or thought of, because it's a very kind of a closed ecosystem. They are great, right? So if you look at the 4 tigers that were growing in the 1980s and 1990s, right? Only Korea and Taiwan are both manufacturing based. Singapore and Hong Kong are trading based economies, right? So in that sense, there are actually some services that you could actually bring into Taiwan and could provide a niche there while the rest are not doing. And that's what we did in cybersecurity more than 10 years back into Taiwan. Okay. Third, obviously, is to leverage on Singapore reputation. Now, they like us because we are quite above board. They don't really have to double guess, second guess what we say, because we really do what we say we do. So I think in that sense, Taiwan actually views Singapore as a friend. So like what Chang says as well, they don't really see us as competitors. They really see us as somebody that could probably bring a different value to them. And it's important to kind of establish that dialogue, right? Now, last but not least, is really understand the ecosystem. Now, I cannot really say too much about this portion because it is affected by geopolitics, it's affected by language, and it's also affected by how the economy is running. So practices that you really do in Singapore may not apply in Taiwan. Practices that you have in other countries in Asia may not apply in Taiwan as well. So it's actually very important to create or understand the ecosystem before going in there, right? back to why Taiwan and why now. Now, interesting is that the two entities I have there right now, despite the fact that my training entity has been there for already a decade, this year we have actually grown about 25% first quarter alone, partly because of the AI boom, right? The entire economy, unlike entire economy, unlike some of the others in Asia right now, is really growing, partly because of the whole AI, semiconductor, the range of stuff. So things are really growing there. And in fact, I find that it's actually a very good time to see where your niches are, to plug yourself either into a supply chain gateway or into a demand area that they really need, right? The Singapore-Taiwan affinity has been always very strong. They see us as a good friend, so you could really leverage on that. Okay. They do also have a pretty stable policy environment. The government don't compete with the private sector. I think, as we know, Singapore tends to have a bit of blur in the area, but Taiwan tends to be private sector is private sector, government sector is government sector, tends to be quite above board. And I think that gives you an opportunity to see what you can do there. Right? So with that, if you're thinking of entering Taiwan, and if any of the businesses that you're representing is complementary to us, or if we can do anything with you, we're more than happy to see how we could connect and kind of help you and help us build the channels together, right? And with that, if you have not scanned it yet, that's my LinkedIn profile. You could always scan and connect with me. Right. With that, Raj, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nicholas. That was a really wonderful sharing. At this point, I also realized there were some questions in the Q&A segment, and it's so heartening to see that one of our speakers, Good, is already answering some of these questions. But fellow speakers, feel free to either type your response to the questions, or you may even answer it verbally. So I'll just repeat the questions here for the benefit of our audience as well. Some of the questions that we have received in this, and I'll also let our speakers address it as well, is as follows. Number one, how is Taiwan fulfilling the talents needs in Taiwan for all the necessary capabilities? So, I mean, you can look through the Q&A segment as it goes, but in view of time, we'll proceed with our next speaker first. Yes. So our next speaker actually is Ms. Tomoko Kamiya, founder and CEO of Logipeace Private Limited. Logipeace is a Singapore-based logistics technology startup building digital infrastructure for the maritime and logistics industries. Tomoko founded Logipeace in 2022 after relocating to Singapore and has since led the company's growth across AI-enabled workflow transformation and smarter communication infrastructure for global supply chains. She was also the first Japanese finalist in the Peer 71 Accelerator program and successfully raised seed funding in 2024. Tomoko will share her journey and lessons from engaging the Taiwan market. Tomoko, please.
Thank you, Raj, and thank you for these wonderful opportunities today. I'm happy to share my experience with you. So let me share with my screen first. Okay, are you ready? Okay, so hi everybody, I'm Tomoko Kamiya, CEO of Logipeace. Today, I want to share our journey as an AI startup working across Singapore and Taiwan. And then more importantly, what we've learned from being close to real logistic operations. A lot of people talk about AI in a very abstract way. But in logistics, the question is very simple. Can AI actually help team work faster, reduce mistakes, and then run better operations? So that's the question we care about today. So first, a quick introduction. Logipeace was founded in Singapore in 2022. We build AI-powered tools for logistics teams, especially for document work and then communication. Our product includes Shaph and Logipeace. Our vision is to become a trusted AI native player for real logistic challenges. And then our mission is simple, to make logistics happier, healthier, and then more sustainable through AI. We are still a young company, but our focus is always, has been always practical, not just building technology, but making it useful in the real world. As we spend time with SME freight forwarders, one thing becomes very clear. The industry is still highly inefficient for many smaller operators. And this is not just an inconvenience. It affects revenue, it slows teams down, it creates customers' frustration. It also makes growth harder. So when we talk about fixing logistics, we are not talking about the faraway future. We are talking about very everyday problems. Too much manual work, too many disconnected processes, too much lost time. So this is a daily problem. Across Asia, we keep seeing the same pain points. First, a lot of dispatch work is still manual. This means teams lose a huge amount of time every single day. Second, information is fragmented. It sits in email, spreadsheets, different systems, and different partners. So instead of making decisions, people spend time chasing updates. Third, there is a limited real-time visibility. When something goes wrong, teams often find out too late. And then during peak period, many companies rely on temporary staff, which adds more pressure. At the same time, deliveries are becoming more complex. Perishables, tight delivery windows, traffic, weather, last-minute changes. But many companies are still using static planning, and the static planning cannot handle dynamic operations. So the complexity is rising, but the workflow are not keeping up. This is where Logipeace comes in. We built an AI platform that includes AI agent, document AI, email AI, and tracking AI. In simple terms, we help automate the repetitive work that slows logistics teams down. That includes shipping updates, document handling, quotes, bill of lading, invoices, and then communications workflow. We also support real-time visibility and then predictive ETS. So teams can respond faster and make better decisions. But the one thing that makes us different is this. We are not only building software. In Singapore, we are also standing up real freight forwarding and the warehouse operations with AI in the loop. Why does that matter? Because it lets us learn inside real workflows, not just in theory, not just in demo environments, but in real actual operations. And then that gives us better data, better feedback, and better products. Our strategy is to be more than a software vendor. We take a phased approach. Phase 1, deploy the AI platform. That includes email automation, document OCR, and the shipment visibility tools. Phase 2, move closer to the operation itself. We become a freight forwarding partner and then embed AI into live workflow. Phase 3, extend this into warehouse management. So AI supports end-to-end executions. Why do we do it this way? Because in logistics, trust comes from proof. Operators do not just want to hear a promise. They want to see that it works in the real world. By being part of the workflow, we can build ground truth data, show ROI more clearly, and then create results that pure SaaS models often cannot. So we don't just want to sell software, we want to prove outcomes. When we compare Singapore and Taiwan, we see two different markets, but with very important similarities. Singapore has strong digital readiness and then is a major logistic hub for SN. Taiwan is strong in air freight, high-tech exports, and then cross-border e-commerce. There is also significant trade activity between Taiwan and Singapore. But for us, the bigger point is not making only market size. It is market structure. In both places, there are many SMEs in freight forwarding and in warehousing. In both places, companies are under pressure to improve speed, control costs, and then gain end-to-end visibility. So for us, Taiwan is not just an attractive market, it is a market where many of the same needs already exist. This is the reason we've been excited about Taiwan. The logistic environment feels strikingly familiar. It is fragmented, it is SME heavy, technology adoption is too slow, and the manual workflow is still common. In many ways, it reminds us of Singapore freight forwarding sector a few years ago. And then that matters because it suggests that the playbooks we've developed in Singapore can be relevant in Taiwan too. Of course, we do not assume a simple copy and paste. Every market is different, but structurally, the opportunity is strong. And then for AI in logistics, that kind of similarity creates a real fast mover advantage, I believe. So why is Taiwan such a strong fit for Logipeace, our company? First, it is a strategic location for regional trade and the high-tech supply chain, especially through hubs like a Kaohsiung and a Taoyuan. Second, it has a strong SME ecosystem. And that is exactly where we believe AI can unlock a lot of value. Third, there is a bilingual talent pool and then a good cultural fit for working with Singapore partners. And then there are already strong collaboration channels between Taiwan and Singapore. Most importantly, we see clear gaps that AI can address, especially in planning agility, visibility, and the cost to serve. So for us, Taiwan is not just a good market on paper. It is a market with real operation need. As we started entering Taiwan, we learned a few things very quickly. The first is relations comes first. Taiwan logistic industry is very relationship driven. So introduction and an in-person presence really matter. Trust does not happen automatically. The second lesson is Mandarin operation matter. Localization is not just about the translating into interface. It also means workflow, support, contracts, and the communication that feel natural in traditional Chinese. And the third lesson is probably the biggest one. Prove it and don't pitch it. Many SMEs are understandably careful. They have hard promise before what really changes mind is a live pilot that shows a real value in the measurable saving. So for us, entering Taiwan reinforced something we already believed. In logistics, credibility comes from execution. So looking ahead, we want to build with partners in Taiwan. We are looking for freight forwarding or warehouse partners. We want to collaborate with us. And then we are also inviting companies to join a free AI pilot with zero upfront risk and full ROI visibility. Our view is very, very simple. The future of logistics will not be built by technology companies alone. It has to be built together with operators who understand the real challenges on the ground. So to close, our message is very simple. Let's turn AI into execution in the logistic industry. At Logipeace, we believe that biggest opportunity is not just talking about AI. It is using AI to improve the real operation for real people in real logistic environment. So thank you very much for your time. If you have any questions, just please let me know. Thank you. Raji, you are on mute.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. And thank you, Tomoko, for your wonderful, inspiring, and practical perspectives. Our next speaker is Miss Becky Chen, Director of Evercomm Singapore Private Limited. Becky combines academic grounding in technopreneurship and innovation with hands-on experience in climate tech. During her time in Singapore, she supported Evercomm's Series A fundraising and government liaison efforts. She later returned to Taiwan and led the establishment of Evercomm Taiwan from the ground up, working closely with local government agencies and helping the company build its regional presence across Taipei, Taichung, and Kaohsiung. Becky will now share Evercomm's experience and insights from the Taiwan market. Becky, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am Becky, and today I want to start with a simple question: why Taiwan and how that decision led us to build a thriving ecosystem from the ground up. And let me start with a quick introduction. Evercomm is a Singapore-based climate tech company, and we use AI to help enterprise manage carbon and digitize ESG processes. But more importantly, we connect sustainability with finance across APAC and Europe. So why Taiwan? For us, it really comes down to market maturity. Taiwan is a highly export-driven economy with deep alignment to European ESG and carbon regulations, which means companies here don't really have a choice. They have to meet global standards. But what's even more interesting is the regulatory environment. Taiwan is strict and also very efficient. Policies move fast and execution follows. In some cases, it even moves faster than Singapore. And for us, that level of speed and clarity is strong signal of market readiness. Now, beyond policy, the industry ecosystem here also plays a critical role. Taiwan has a world-class manufacturing base, and more importantly, there is a real demand for enterprise ESG solutions. These are highly demanding clients with strong compliance requirements. So let's push our product to its limits, and that's exactly why we see Taiwan as the ultimate stress test. And if your solution works here, it's ready for the global market. And that's why Taiwan wasn't just an option, it became the logical choice for us. But getting into the market is a different challenge altogether. We've seen many companies fall into the same traps. They underestimate how long it takes to build trust, and they try to sell too early before relationships are built, and they pay for it. And often they overlook the support system around them. But we took a different approach. And when everything changed, instead of entering Taiwan on our own, we chose to build through the ecosystem. We partnered with local players, plugged into existing networks, and started to really understand how the market works. Because trust here takes time, but by embedding ourselves early, we are able to accelerate that process. We started seeing real traction, real business much earlier, and that gave us something critical: momentum. And that's how we approach our entry. The first step was TACC Plus, a national level accelerator backed by the Ministry of Economic Affairs. We joined through their international soft landing program and spent a little over a month on the ground in Taiwan. During that time, we were not just entering the market, we were evaluating it. We learned how the ecosystem works and started to really understand whether this was a market we should commit to. At the same time, we went through a series of structured sessions designed to help us build locally. They guided us through company setup, legal and tax frameworks, and go-to-market strategy. And beyond the classroom, we were also connected with clients, investors, and potential partners through a well-structured approach with the right introduction at the right time. And very practically, the program also supported our flight, our accommodation, and provided a working space, which means from day one, we could focus entirely on the market instead of worrying about setup. So by the end of the program, we were not just exploring Taiwan, we had validated the opportunity, built initial connection, and taken our first real step into the market. And the second key was E3, not just a research institute, but the core innovation engine behind Taiwan's tech industry. Companies like TSMC can of this system, and as a government-backed institution, E3 gives something very difficult to build, institutional trust. But more importantly, they actually worked with us. They help us localize our product, adapting it to industry needs, regulations, and how customers operate. And they also helped us bring that product to market. Through their network, we engage enterprise clients, ran pilots, and validated our solution in real-world scenarios. So instead of taking years, we moved from product to market-ready solution much faster. And that's when started to scale. E3 helped us turn early traction into real market opportunities by connecting us with key players and quick turning those into real projects. At the same time, leverage E3 resources, we are able to operate across Taiwan in Taipei, Taichung, and Kaohsiung, and work closely with clients in different regions. And just as importantly, they help us navigate the public sector, from grants to programs to policy alignments. And when you bring both together, private sector traction and public sector backing, that's how you scale. At that point, we started to see real outcomes from this ecosystem. For example, we co-created a joint showcase with CTBC Bank at the Singapore FinTech Festival last year. And it was a real cross-border collaboration, taking what we built in Taiwan and bringing back to Singapore. And beyond that, through the collaboration with E3, we were officially qualified as a green investor by Taiwan's Ministry of Environment, which is actually quite meaningful because it means we were not just building solutions. We can now help allocate capital into sustainability projects. So when we see promising startups in this ecosystem, we are able to connect them with government-backed funding and support their growth through investment. And that's when everything started to come together. Looking back, this became a repeatable model. Enter through platforms, anchor with institutions, prove in Taiwan, and scale across the region. So in summary, don't enter Taiwan alone, build with the right partners. Use Taiwan not just a market, but as a launchpad. And that's where real scale happen. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Becky, for your valuable sharing. And to close today's content segment, we will now turn to the Taiwan AI Showcase, AI Wave Taipei 2026. It is my pleasure to invite Ms. Joan Chia, strategist at Taipei Computer Association, to share more. Joan plays a key role in advancing international collaboration with Taiwan's AI ecosystem. Through her work at TCA, she leads cross-border initiatives that connect Taiwan's technology sector with global partners, including industry leaders such as GitHub, Microsoft, and IBM. Her work focuses on building meaningful industry connections, accelerating AI adoption, and creating platforms for knowledge exchange between Taiwan and the global tech community. Joan, please.
Thank you, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Joan. I'm from Taipei Computer Association. It is indeed my pleasure to introduce our AI Wave show. Let me share my slide now. Okay. AI Wave Show is Taiwan's premier AI showcase where the full AI supply chain comes together under one roof, from foundational software and AI applications all the way to edge hardware and integrated solutions. TCA is actually very well known for its exhibitions. We have Computex and Innovex coming up, and of course, in order to facilitate all the AI solutions that is now on the rise, AI Wave Show that is in partnership with the Ministry of Digital Affairs is formulated, and this is our second year running this show. Right. AI Wave Show 2025, actually. Sorry. AI Wave Show 2025 brought together approximately 200 exhibitors with 300 booths of AI products and solutions, and more than 50,000 visitors came through the doors. It was a very big success in attracting numerous international partners and established a professional platform connecting people in the industry. And the companies that are showing up reflects that success. On the international side, we'll find names like AMD, Deloitte, Microsoft, PwC, and Qualcomm. And on the Taiwan side, is a showcase of homegrown innovation, of course, with names like Asus, Acer, Advantech, and Neuron, and many more. All these companies that are quietly powering the global AI revolutions. And of course, beyond all the booths and keynotes, what really define AI Wave Show is the energy, the conversations, the connections, and the partnerships in the making as people from all over the world comes into this show. It is a true convergence of a global and local forces, a living proof that Taiwan connects the world through AI. And so, what is coming in 2026? So following our last year's milestone, AI Wave 2026 continues its mission with an even greater scale and focus. We are bringing together Taiwan's top-tier AI enterprises, along with global partners, to demonstrate the depth of Taiwan's capabilities and build new bridges for international collaboration. So the dates are set at July 30th to August 1st on Taipei's World Trade Center Hall 1. And we would love to see Singapore very well represented this year. And this year, what is coming up is that we have sharpened our focus around 3 tracks that reflect where AI is genuinely heading. First, AI software applications, agentic AI, knowledge AI, visual AI, and decision AI, the intelligence layer that sits on top of everything. And second, edge AI, hardware, software integration. We have been hearing this even from Good's presentation, that yes, all the AI PCs, mobile AI, edge servers, robotics, and smart wearables. That's the physical layer where AI meets the real world. And lastly, we have team pavilions featuring government agencies, national pavilions, showing how public institutions here in Taiwan are leading AI adoption at scale. So besides all the highlights in the exhibition, we have the forums. All these forums tackles the sharpest edges of AI today. We have 3 core topics: AI agents, which is now a vibe, all the vibe here; autonomous multi-step workflows reshaping how we work; edge AI pushing intelligence to the device level for real-time, low latency performance; and of course, native LLMs, building large language models that think and communicate in local languages, especially in Chinese. So these aren't theoretical discussions. Our speakers that we have invited are practitioners who are building and deploying these systems right now, sharing real lessons from the ground up. And here's some of the speakers that will be speaking at our forums. First, we have on the July 30th, we are proud to feature 2 distinguished international speakers across our AI agent and language model forum series. Joining us first is from Japan, Hiraya Shute, Senior Director and Global Business Development at SoftBank. And then we also have professional Dr. Rolf Meyer, Director of the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center at FHNW from Switzerland. And then on the 31st of July, our Edge AI will feature another 2 speakers. First will be Professor Tetsuya Ogata from Japan's Waseda University. He is a pioneering figure in Japanese AI and edge AI research. And we also have Jennifer Apicella, CEO of the Pittsburgh Robotics Network, an organization that coordinates over 140 tech companies and has helped position Pittsburgh on one of the top deep tech innovation hubs globally. So with all these speakers, we also have at Wave many other engagements to enhance the depth of all the visitors. Through team tour guides, our matchmaking, networking events, we are structured to ensure that every interaction is meaningful and efficient. So, through this, we hope that our global partners will find available opportunities for technical cooperation, collaboration, and mutual growth. Now, Taiwan, as shared today from all the speakers, I hope has given everybody to see, let us see its world-class semiconductor manufacturing, powering the compute layer, growing talent pipeline across the universities and industry, and a rich data sets across manufacturing, healthcare, and logistics. Is uniquely positioned to be a full-stack AI partner. So we really warmly invite Singapore's tech ecosystem to tap into this. So whether you're looking for technology partners, collaboration opportunities, or even new business connections, AI Wave Show is where that conversation starts. So we warmly invite you and your team to join us in Taipei from July 30th to August 1st. So whether you come as a visitor, part of a delegation, or as exhibitor or as a partner, there is a place for Singapore and Singapore team at AI Wave Show. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Joan, for sharing more about the AI Wave Taipei 2026 and the opportunities for international collaborations. Now that we've explored the opportunities and realities of the Taiwan market, the next step is in turning insight into action. We are pleased to invite you to take part in our upcoming Business Mission and Singapore Pavilion at AI Wave Show in Taipei, designed to help you connect directly with partners, customers, and decision makers on the ground. The SGTech Business Mission will comprise the Singapore Pavilion Showcase at AI Wave Show, exclusive site visits to Taiwanese AI hubs and facilities, and curated B2B matching. Eligible Singapore-registered companies can enjoy subsidized program fee with Enterprise Singapore's lead grant support. Please scan this QR code to express your interest, and the SGTech Go Global team will reach out to you to share more details. And while you are scanning the QR code, perhaps I can invite all of the speakers who have been so wonderful in sharing their perspectives here to just give us at least one key tip that you would love the audience to take away from your segments of your talks. So I'll invite any of you to share your perspectives, just one key tip that you want our audience to take away from this webinar. Any of our speakers, you'd like to start first? Maybe we could start with Mr. Good.
Hello? Could you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Could you repeat the question? Sorry, I just
Okay.
yeah.
No worries. So my question is, could you perhaps share one key tip or takeaway that you would love for our audience to bring back with them from this webinar?
Okay, I got 1,000 words want to share with you, but just one verse, one sentence. Invest Taiwan now. Thank you.
Oh wow. Okay. Lovely. Could we have any of our other speakers as well share your perspectives?
Well, I guess I can.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm Shaph again from Startup Terrace. So what I want to say is just that while is the largest startup hub in Taiwan, Startup Terrace always welcome international startup to come explore opportunities in Taiwan under the lowest cost, and we are always pleased to serve you as your agent here in Taiwan. Thank you.
Lovely. Okay. Are we going to have any other speakers share your perspectives? No? Okay. No worries at all. So what I will do also now for our participants is I'd like to invite all of our participants to help us complete this short survey to help us understand your company's technology needs better, as well as your AI digital priorities and interests in partnering with Taiwanese companies. Your responses really will help us curate future relevant B2B matchmaking and collaboration opportunities. Please do take a couple of minutes and scan this QR code as well on the screen to complete the survey. Maybe we'll spend about 5 minutes on this. Just all of you who are here as participants, please kindly complete this survey. This is really crucial for us. Thank you.
Hey, Roger, sorry, I have some words want to share because I will join the CEO Sherpas program in next 2 weeks from the May 17 to May 20. So if anyone are interested to invest Taiwan or any other regarding to the just the question about the Taiwan IPOs market or how to set up the corporation in Taiwan, anything about Taiwan, we can meet in Singapore there. Thank you.
That is wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. For all of you participants who have heard, Good will actually be here in Singapore really soon. So please do reach out to him and schedule a meetup with him. And maybe Good, if I could also ask, because we've just gotten a question from Mr. Satoshi Mizukawa. He's actually asking what is the estimated cost of an IPO in Taiwan? Would you be able to answer that?
May I share my slide again?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Sure. Okay, here we are. Okay. Can anybody see the slides?
Yes, we can see. Thank you.
Yeah. Just like the Danny Chai CPA mentioned, compared to the other capital markets, if we want to IPO in Taiwan, the cost is very low, actually. For example, from a consultation fee, not only for the underwriter, but also accountant with lawyers. So the estimated the cost is in Taiwan dollars, 27 million to 45 million. 45 million NT dollars. So maybe just within 2 million Singapore dollar, right? Within, yeah. And the IPO fee is lower than that. There's a 0.5 million, even in the major Taiwan stock exchange. And the annual fee after IPO for the maintenance is just lower than the 20k Singapore dollars. So I think this is affordable, and you may know the liquidity of the global capital market in Taiwan is high, very, very high. So not only put your company and operation in Taiwan, but also can leverage the international capital, especially in this AI and semiconductor wave. So I wish this can answer your question. And if you have any question, you can through the SGTech and TCA to reach out to Deloitte. We are happy to share any information for you. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much for that. Good. I definitely feel that answered the question really well. And now, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of SGTech, I would like to extend our sincere appreciation to Taipei Computer Association for partnering with us on this webinar. A big thank you as well to all of our speakers, Good, Shaph, Nicholas, Tomoko, Becky, Joan, as well as Danny, for generously sharing your insights and experiences. Most importantly, thank you to all of our participants here for joining us this afternoon. We hope today's session has given you a clearer understanding of Taiwan's AI and semiconductor landscape, its startup ecosystem, and the practical considerations for Singapore tech companies looking to enter or deepen their presence in Taiwan. If Taiwan is part of your regional roadmap, we hope this session helps you to take the next step from exploration to execution. while if you have not already completed the survey, please kindly complete the survey. If not, my name is Raj from SGTech. Thank you once again for joining us, and we wish everyone a wonderful evening ahead. Thank you.